is Harry, right?
She asked. She had a deep, husky voice for a girl, like she was whispering all the time. Yeah, Harry Altman, I told her. I suddenly felt very shy. I don't know why. I turned away from her and shoved the hot dog onto the end of the stick.
My name is Lucy,
she said, making her way to the circle of kids around the fire. I followed her. The kids' faces were all flickering orange and yellow in the firelight. The aroma of roasting hot dogs made me feel even hungrier. 4 girls were huddled together, laughing about something. I saw a boy eating his roasted hot dog right off the stick.
Gross,
Lucy said, making a disgusted face.
Let's go over here.
She led me to the other side of the campfire. Something popped in the fire. It sounded like a firecracker exploding. We both jumped. Lucy laughed. We sat down on the grass, raised the long sticks, and poked our hot dogs into the flames. The fire was roaring now. I could feel its heat on my face.
I like mine really black,
Lucy said. She turned her stick and pushed it deeper into the flames.
I just love that burnt taste. How about you?
I opened my mouth to answer her, but my hot dog fell off the stick. Oh no! I cried. I watched it fall into the sizzling, red-hot blanket of flames. I turned to Lucy, and to my surprise, to my horror, she leaned forward, stuck her hand deep into the fire, grabbed my hot dog from the burning embers, and lifted it out.
You can't scare me, not with the basement of botany. Maybe a sentient dummy, calling all creep. Boo, dudes. Welcome to another episode 45, of Calling All Creeps. I'm your host, A Diaper, and I'm here with that which fills my diaper.
I am the shit. It's the 2-year spectacular.
The 2-year anniversary. People all over the world are screaming in excitement.
And dying.
Yeah, and dying.
Thanks, pandemic, for bringing it down.
Oh,
but
my God.
The best thing to happen in 2020 is for us to have a 2-year anniversary.
We made it 2 years, 45 books. Hey,
2
Dave,
years.
45. You know what you had said to me earlier is 45 is your favorite president. Is that true?
You know, Matt, earlier, 2 years, that's what you said is the inches of your penis.
Yes, Dave, in both length and circumference.
Well, way to show off.
Mm-hmm. That's quite right.
Well, this is the most important episode, and like we said, we're going to have the most spectacular guest ever.
That's right.
And we said you may not realize how important this is, but to us it's huge because this is the only guest that we failed to get and had to work hard to get a second time.
That's right.
This is a
Took
guest
some convincing this time.
This is the only person who said no, other than, well, no, Arlstein didn't even say no. His people will not respond to us, and I know that firmly now after reaching out to them in so many different fashions.
Yeah, but he will like the occasional tweet.
He will. He'll like it, and then he'll realize
post.
who we are, and he'll be like, oh,
yeah, no thanks.
Bother.
Look, he's a 76-year-old man. He's got a lot of stuff to do, like sleep and, try to bend his knees. He has to rear his grandchildren.
Yeah. When I'm 69, I'm only going to dress like in sexy dad clothes. I'm going to dress like one of the guys from LMFAO every day. But
when
anyway,
I'm 69, I'm going to do a handstand, and then I'm going to stand upright, and then I'm going to do a handstand, and then I'm going to stand upright. Get it? Like the sex position.
Oh.
Speaking of sex positions, we have a wonderful guest here.
And in many ways, because it's perfect, we are recording this the day after a new Borat trailer has released. And who is our guest, Matt? Please yell it loud and clear.
It is my wife. My wife, Lauren, the Goosebumps podcast host wife.
But more importantly, as everybody on the podcast knows her, Producer Chib.
Producer Chib, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
You don't have to say that. You've already turned us down once. You're our white whale.
And we got you.
Well, I am happy to be here.
Oh, that sounds good. Sounds genuine.
It sure does. You're our Moby Dick.
That's right.
So, do you think, real quick, just while we're still on that, you think in the 90s when recording artist Moby would like bring a girl back home, he'd be like, hey, you like Moby Dick?
What's your favorite kind of whale?
Oh my God.
Gonna have to edit that out. So,
speaking of which, this is something I'm realizing. And Producer Chib, I mean, you're the one to blame. Some people are like, what episode should I start on? And then I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. Then I realized we never explained anything about this podcast. So I'm like, probably one. Because, just so you guys know, we do not say male excrement names. You're sensing they're out. It's No Nut 2020.
It's No Nut 2020. And it's Super Bust 2021.
Yeah, and this is the Calling All Creeps podcast where we read Goosebumps so you don't have to. That's something, this should be like our good thing we do for our producer because we're bad to her, and she's so sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So, Chib,
wow.
We often like to get to know our guests through Goosebumps. Can you tell us a little bit about your history with Goosebumps and what it means to ye?
Well, I read Goosebumps throughout my childhood. Dave and I went to the same elementary school, so
well.
I don't know if you remember the Scholastic Book Fairs.
I do.
Never heard of them.
They were the best. So I would use my allowance money, and I definitely judged them by their cover. So I didn't even read all of them. I only read the ones that I thought had the coolest cover or that had like the coolest title. And then at the elementary school that we went to, we would have like mandatory library time. So they would force you to choose one book from the library all the time. So I would always pick a Goosebump book, but they were really popular. So if I couldn't pick them, they had like a cookbook for like cannolis that I used to read because no one else would take it out, and then I would just like read it over and over again.
Did that soothed you or something to read about the cream?
Well, my dad's favorite dessert was a cannoli,
I
wanted to learn how to make it.
That's nice.
I just bumped this with my chin by accident.
That's a weird thing. I remember books that I would take out, and I remember that my mom. That's not a
Your
Borat.
mother.
Maybe in the new Borat 2, Borat's Revenge. He'll be like, my mom. In my mandatory reading time, I wanted a dog so bad, and she was like, if we ever got a dog, it would only be a small one. So I remember taking out they had like just a bunch different little books on different breeds of dogs, and I would take out like the teacup one just to bring home, which is like it was like Legally Blonde. Like it's something that they would sell when the Legally Blonde movie was out, like at the register at, like Urban Outfitters. So like it was like teacup dogs, and it was like, I don't know how many elementary school or whatever elementary school teacher probably saw me taking the teacup dog book out. Like, that'll go great in his purse. But like, unfortunately, I didn't end up that elegant. But we did get a Maltese. But I was like, this is it. This, like, if I bring this home, my mom's gonna see it and be like, yeah, small dogs. You got
it. Sort of worked though.
But this was probably like in second grade. And we got the dog in like my 8th grade. So it did it was unrelated.
It planted the seed.
But also, Lauren, our elementary school, what was the mascot when you went there?
Oh, it was problematic.
Yes.
I still have the T-shirt with the logo on it.
So many schools.
It was a Native American, but it was Randall Carter Indians.
Now people are going to know exactly where to find us and murder us. I mean, we don't live there anymore.
We don't live there anymore.
If they have a time machine, we're fucked.
Well, they still. I mean, isn't the Indians football team? Well, they're late. It's like under review right now, right? They're
For
like,
Wayne Valley.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like no, Indian is still used in like the NFL.
No, I think they're done now.
I know, but they just did it, and they still are like picking a name, aren't they?
I don't know. I mean, well, theirs was the Redskins, which is like...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And
is that what you're thinking
Well,
of?
and baseball, the Indians are still a baseball team.
And then there's the Blackhawks, which I think are still okay. They may change their logo. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would love, instead, to see the Chicago White Guys instead. It would be really cool. It's just like, I don't know. It's the only sports team to be... endorsed by Sperry.
And they don't even participate, they just win by default.
Yeah, it's cool. They start with like 3 points above everyone else.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we picked a book. We didn't pick a book. This is just the next book.
This is the next book. Hey, I have a question before we move on. Chib, you've listened to every one of our episodes, correct?
Yes.
Do you approve of the podcast?
No.
Okay.
What sucks about it?
How could you say we can improve?
I think that you need to spend a little bit more time not telling dick and fart jokes.
Interesting.
And I think you talk a lot about what you don't like. And
yes.
And I think there should just be a little bit more. I really liked I forget the episode, but you went back. It was whatever book that R.L. Stine was like, this is my best book. And you deviated and you read it. And I liked the second episode that you did on it where Dave analyzed it. And I thought that was a lot of fun. So I think...
Well, I want to go back and say that more than that, I analyzed it. And also, don't you hate it when you fart from your butt and it makes your dick stink?
Dave, personally, I hate when I sit down on the toilet and I piss on my balls.
Man, that's a fart and poop time, ass. No, but we
for
really
the listeners, Lauren is handing me an envelope. Let me see what's in here. It says $3.99 divorce.
That's a deal.
That's a deal. I can't be mad. Mm-hmm. This episode is sponsored by Max Bremen, attorney at law. Thanks, Max. $3.99 divorce. Go get yours today, Casper. So we should do more analyses.
And I think you need to also, because, I mean, the premise, if you listen to episode 1 and the first few episodes, is a 90s nostalgia podcast. And I feel like there's hardly any of that. So I would like to see a little bit more.
Strap the fuck in, everybody, because I'm about to fucking slap bracelet your Tamagotchi up your goddamn pooper. Because this is Ghost Camp. Be all that you can't see, which is military that has nothing to do with this camp. He basically just sold out. R.L. Stine sold out to the military like 3 doors down before a movie at the AMC theaters.
That's the flavor text is. I like that.
Do you?
Be all that you can't see.
I guess.
I think it's more clever than others, right? The others are like, this book is scary, and scary is italicized.
Like, it's like Skella 1, more like the skeleton in this one.
2,000 skeletons in this book.
House of 1,000 corpse. But this book is number 45, July of 1996. The song at that time, 90s Nostalgia, California Love, written and performed by the late Tupac.
California love is undeniable. Oh.
Also, Casey and JoJo, Doctorate Dre, and Roger Troutman. Don't know him. Don't remember his verse in that. The movie, 90s Nostalgia, 90s, Independence Day.
Wow.
Whoa, Bill Pullman.
Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth.
I will not go quietly
into the night. But I
will
go into the bathroom and have a fight between my ass and the toilet.
Okay, this is what I really wanted to push out because this is the most out of like all the current events I pick are fucking terrible. It's like Tom Holland was born and he would be Spider-Man one day. Like that was the last one. But these are actual like I always go to different websites and today I found stuff that just felt so 90s. It made me excited. And nice. I think it's because like we're 90s kids, very much so, but like our 90s started happening now, like late 1996, 97, 98. Like Nintendo 64 was released in Japan last episode, so our 90s is starting now.
Hell yeah.
And that's why I'm so happy to say that on July 4th, Hotmail, a free internet email service began.
Wow.
We are about to get caught in that World Wide Web, everybody. And what would we want to do? I don't know. Maybe Google. Well, no, we couldn't Google then. Maybe Alta Vista or Metacrawl some info about what's happening over the pond. Because on July 8th, the British girl group, the Spice Girls, released their debut single, Wannabe, in the UK.
Wow. Famously, producer Chib is a big Spice Girls fan. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was a huge Spice Girls fan when I was that age. I had everything that you can. Yeah, I still like them. They're fun. I had all of the merch. I had a backpack. I had bags. I had the bubble gum, the collectible cards, the dolls. My whole top to bottom bedroom was in posters of the Spice Girls. I had a uncle who lived out in California and worked for Borders Books and Music. He would get like promo materials for like their albums and like their just like merch and stuff that like would only be exclusive to Borders, and he would like send it to me in a big box for my birthday. It was awesome.
The coolest shit.
Yeah,
as a kid, that's the coolest. Like, to get a cardboard cutout from a store as a kid for something you really like.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I remember the record store near our alma mater gave me, when the new Saves the Day album came out, they gave me like the cardboard cutout that they didn't even put on the wall. And I had it in my dorm room and I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like... But, like, as a kid, that's the coolest thing ever.
Hell yeah.
And now, this, I believe, is more important than your horoscope. We're all going to go around. Who's your favorite Spice Girl?
Whoa. Well,
Producer Chib, because you produced this podcast.
You should go first.
Mine...
Yeah.
Mine was Ginger Spice, also known as Sexy Spice. I really... Dave is a redhead, so he might be weirded out by this, but I really had a thing for redheads when I was little, and I thought Dave, like she was so pretty, and I wanted red hair so badly, and I just wanted to be her. So she was my favorite by far.
Listeners. He's jiggling his yabos.
His yabos.
My yabos.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think Ginger Spice because...
No. Who did you like as a kid?
Ginger Spice.
Really?
She was in Playboy, that's why.
Yeah, because my best friend at the time had an older brother who had that edition of Playboy, and guess who looked at it? This guy. Hell yeah. I saw boobs. Dave, your turn.
So, this explains me so much. So my favorite... in my head was Posh Spice. Mm-hmm. I've always
is that the David Beckham's wife?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who like her basically her the vagina covering part of her underwear is part of her dress because they're so short.
Oh sure.
But because I would always spend time with my cousin, my brother, and like friends of that group and stuff. Everybody would pick theirs, and because I wasn't the oldest and basically always was kind of like very sheepish, she was already picked. So they'd be like, "You got Sporty Spice," and I was like, "All right, cool." Which, like, looking back at now, she should have been like, I don't know, Crystal Meth Spice.
You know which one I'd be?
What?
Farty Spice.
And this is the part that producer Chib hates.
Yep.
It's inevitable. It's part of our brand. It's our charm. People love it.
People endorse this. And we asked everybody, because this is our 2-year anniversary.
Correct.
To just let us know what you think about Goosebumps, what you think about the podcast. And it's crazy. We got thousands of messages, thousands of video clips, and we just had to pick the very best of the 5 we got. And I think we should play them now.
Hello, Boo Dudes. This is Eric from the Adventures in Collecting podcast, calling in to wish Calling All Creeps and my 2 sons, Matt, Dave, congratulations, boys. Very proud of you. You are the apple of my eye, and Matt, I'm very proud of you. I hope you're taking good care of your butthole. And Dave, I hope you're taking good care of your brother's butthole. Thank you guys for having me on, and I hope you finish all these books before you both fall over and die.
Hi, Dave and Matt. It's your favorite goth jock, Brian, calling to wish Calling All Creeps a happy however many anniversary. I didn't check. But you guys are doing great, and you've done 200-300 books at this point, and every week you're more and more lethargic. But I gotta say, it's been great. I've been listening since the beginning, and I'm ready for it to be over. I love you both so much, and just wow. And if I say come, do you have to bleep it? Come. Okay, later.
Okay, so Goosebumps holds a very special place in my heart. When I was younger, I would collect all the books, all the movies. I'd sit on my floor and just stare at the book cover art for hours and let my imagination run wild. I even had a Goosebumps themed birthday party when I was 7, I think. And everyone in my class knew I loved Goosebumps. They'd call me the Goosebumps girl. And a couple years ago, I did get the haunted mask tattooed on my arm. So, needless to say, I definitely was Goosebumps obsessed, and I still am. So, thank you guys for keeping the classic alive.
This is Dario, aka 80s Baby on Instagram. As a illiterate, I enjoy listening to the show because I can't read, so these audio books, you guys read it for me and then tell me all about it. It's awesome. I love that you can't say jizz or nut or anything like that. I love all that. I didn't know about R.L. Stein's kid being, I don't remember, but I love all these facts that I hear from you guys. But honestly, all jokes aside, I fucking hate the show. I can't stand it. And I'm just waiting to listen until the episode actually gets good. So until then, I'll keep listening. And then, sorry for the 1-star review. But fuck both of you. Continue on. And yeah, love you guys.
Hey, this is Craig from the Disney Dunces podcast. I just wanted to say congratulations, guys, on your 2 years. You've been going strong, and that's awesome. And I as someone who's only read one Goosebumps book, and it's not even apparently part of the original Goosebumps books, I can say I very much enjoyed the podcast. Even like I said, even though I'm not necessarily a fan of Goosebumps, it's still an enjoyable podcast. You guys are a lot of fun, and again, congratulations, guys. That's awesome. Alrighty, bye.
Hello, Lucy Blumpkins is my name. Long-time listener. I am a huge fan of you young men. I have to say, I quite enjoy your show. However, I simply detest all of the dick and fart jokes. It is far too vulgar. So I insist that you desist at once with that. All right? Have a great day.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ed, 1/3 of the Power Triumvirate, the sexy triangle that is the Bailey School Dropouts podcast. I just want to take a moment to say happy anniversary to our pals over at Calling All Creeps. We all know that the Bailey School Kids and Goosebumps were the Rolling Stones and the Beatles of 90s horror literature for children. But despite our inherent rivalries, we think you guys are fantastic. We love what you're doing. We're huge fans of the podcast. And you've earned all the success you've seen, and we cannot wait to see what you have in store for us in the future. So, happy anniversary, and have a great day. I'm glad that's over with. Stupidest goddamn thing. Ooh, Goosebumps, reader beware. Bunch of assholes, who cares? Alright. What else is there to do on the internet today? Pornhub.com. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, yeah, that's hot. Hello? No, hey. Oh, no, I'm just recording this thing for this stupid podcast. Calling All Creeps? Yeah, I'm not surprised you haven't heard of it. No, it's bad. Yeah, it's really bad. The hosts think they're funny, but they're not. They're assholes. Oh, no, I wouldn't even bother. It's a total waste of time. So what are you wearing? Yeah? Yeah? Oh, I bet you look like a slut. Ah, you're so fucking sexy. You know what I want to do to you right now? Oh, shit. Am I still recording? Dad, I gotta call you back.
And
wow. Those were so good.
Yeah, and it's awesome because you just heard yourself if you're one of those like 5 or 6 people, so you can turn it off now and go listen to a real podcast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, thanks to our friends and fans for sending in those clips. We genuinely, seriously appreciate everybody listening, especially for this long. That's crazy.
It's crazy that you said fans too, and like I had a guttural reaction to that.
I know. I had to like get past it very quickly.
And it's not even about fans because like people are like, "Oh, can I be part of this?" And like that's incredible to me that like because we're not doing this as like this is an us thing. This is more just like a fart and dick joke conversation we're having
for sure
in the line in the lunchroom of college or something. Like,
yeah,
this doesn't matter.
We were gonna do this anyway. Like we were gonna read the books anyway, like as a nostalgia trip. So this is just us making a document of that.
Well, going back into it, if this is someone's first podcast, or not first, who knows, first Calling All Creeps episode, this started because you were reading the books together, right? Weren't both of you reading them?
I was reading them.
Yes.
You did read the first one, right?
Yeah, we started where we were going to read them together, but I'm a really lazy person, and I only did the first one, and then I stopped. It was, yeah. I was like, oh, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Fair.
if not for this pod, I probably would have stopped at some point. I think on my own, I got to, like, through the first 7. So I got to, like, Night of the Living Dummy, and then we kicked this off.
Yeah. Yeah, and you would kind of pull all of this podcast and simplify it into one tweet.
Correct. Yes, a
book.
couple years ago, I had summer 2018. I would sort of condense it into a single tweet review. Not ironic, just what I think of it now as an adult person. And it was interesting to see, especially in the beginning, because those first like 10 books are largely quality. But there's a few stinkers, and so to come back to those, and those first 10 also are largely iconic. So to return to them as an adult, it was just sort of interesting to get to rediscover them. And that was really the thing. But, it's look, we say all the time, it's a huge burden. We don't want to do it at all. But we also enjoy it. Dave, I like chatting with you and having this date with you every couple weeks and hearing from people who listen to it and friends or not. I mean, you're all our friends, but some of you we know personally. And it's just it's a positive experience.
And just going back to like you writing those individual tweets and being very earnest, that's what really inspired the podcast. And you just did such a good job crafting it in such a small thing. And our episodes always go over an hour. But like, it's just so tough because like you only have 280 characters and is 4 characters, which takes up so much.
Yeah. Do you want to dive into this bad boy, or you have more time to place?
Into this. No, I have all the alcohol I need.
Sweet.
Ready to party. So this book, here's some quick facts. It has been reprinted a bunch, but it did not get one of the most recent ones, as many of these haven't. So you can't find this book in Barnes & Noble or easily on Amazon. But this book... we got our original print, of course, in 1996. It got a Fright Light edition in May of 1997. Do you have any of those in your collection?
I don't think I do. No.
Those are the books that have like a book light built into them.
Yeah.
And it has like usually 2 or 3 books in it. And then
cool.
on top of that,
I definitely had one of those.
You did?
Yeah.
Do you think you still have it?
No.
Oh man.
But I remember
Crushing.
And then it got a campfire collection.
Yes.
Along, because there's many a camp book, as we said. There's, this is the 3rd camp book, I think, so far.
And we still have 1 or 2 more to go.
Yeah, and that was August of 2003. And then it got one of those standalone reprints in September of 2003. The ones that are the original cover with just a full goopy border on it.
Yeah.
All I have to say about this book is that this one, which is a little crazy, does not have an episode of the TV show as well, but I would love to see one. A lot of merchandise made on it, but the coolest ones that I wish I had were the sneakers. They're like white dad shoes with like purple blobs all over them and some of the ghost campers down the side.
That's sick.
We'll post that up on our gram. The original book included a bookmark and trading card tear out. The one I bought online, I mean, that kid couldn't wait to pull that shit out. Do you have yours?
Yeah, I have it here, Dave. It says, "Boo Dude, Goosebumps is on TV. Check your local listings." Although I think, was there a page in here that had a tear out? No, that must have been Say Cheese and Die. Again. But it does have an advertisement in the back for the Haunted Mask VHS.
Nice.
It is $14.98. And it says a free Reading is a Scream bookmark included in the VHS. So that's fun.
Yeah. But it's great. I was the kind of kid where like I would get stickers or tattoos and I would be like, if I use them, they're gone forever.
Oh, yeah. I would just pluck them right out of every book.
I wish I was that person.
I would treat them like a crystal light.
Yikes.
And I would spread them around the room like confetti.
I was like Dave. I used to stash things. And like I had my Machamps from like the original like Pokemon set, like still in the plastic.
Still
like
in the
to
plastic?
this day, I never took them out.
To
or
be
like
fair,
the Burger King ones too,
Yeah,
like the promo
they're
ones.
worth more money like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's insane. Today, I don't want to get into weird Pokemon things, but actually, to correct what I said last week, we don't usually do corrections because if you send it to us, we probably won't respond. Twitter, but
that's true.
We said that Say Cheese and Die Again was the final book in that series, which is a lie. We forgot that much later he made Say Cheese and Die Screaming.
Yes, but I think many of our statements are pertaining to the original 62.
Yeah, and wrong. Whether it's about this or whatever. But yeah, and then there was that. On top of it, R.L. Stine said that this was one of his scariest books.
The Ghost Camp?
I think it is. But I'll get into why in a little bit.
Mamma mia. Well, shall we dive in?
One more thing to say, and this is something I want to get into as well, but a lot of people believe that this has ties to what I think is probably one of his scariest books, which started off the series with Welcome to Dead House. There's a lot of parallels that you can pull to that book and kind of build a Goosebumps universe. So I'm excited to just kind of hear what you guys think at the end.
Yeah.
And now it's time to dive headfirst, stretch it open, and just smell, intake, and get some of that plot. And I would love producer Chib to take us on that journey.
No.
Would you like to kick us off with some plot?
Sure. Just interject if I read half of it a couple weeks ago and I finished the other half today. So the latter half is fresh in my mind. So feel free to interject if I say something incorrect. But it starts with Alex and Harry, who are two brothers. And
HarryStyles.org. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
HarryStyles.
There we go. I retract my statement about interjecting. So it starts with two brothers. They're both 1 year apart, which I find really burdensome for their mother because that means she was like doing back-to-back pregnancies.
They're called Irish twins.
Yeah.
And some women just like to fuck. And you should not. Just don't besmirch them because they love to reproduce. Some people just want that.
All right. So they're 1 year apart.
Hornydad.com/ghostcamp.
Plus, mom loves to squeeze one out.gov.
.co.uk. Go on.
They're on a bus heading toward a summer camp, and they specify that it's like late in the summer, so there's no one on the bus because their parents signed them up late for it, and they make it a huge point to say that. Did you guys ever go to a summer camp, like a sleepaway one?
Not a sleepaway.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, we went on like a school trip to like a sleepaway camp in like 5th grade, and that was like my only experience, but my parents never sent me to summer camp.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any friends that went to it. So
I was a Boy Scout, so we would go, but it was like a week. It wasn't the whole summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My summers were, my mom worked nights, so she would be with us all day. So like she would take us to like the local lake, and then she'd buy us Burger King for lunch every single day. I ate a lot of like bad food.
That rocks.
Now that I think about it, but that's kind of what I think of when I think of like the late summer. Was just like Burger King.
Yeah. I think sometimes when I think about my summers as a child, I think about the summer of 1997 and going to like the recreational pool in the town I grew up in and seeing Men in Black twice in the theaters.
I remember when Wild Wild West came out, Burger King had the special sunglasses that they used to wear. So my sister and I both had them, and we'd wear them in the summer.
Kevin Kline fans, get at us. HarryStyles.org. Send us an email. Klineheads.
Klineheads, call creepspod@gmail.com.
Let us know. What's your favorite Kline film? Klinemaniacs.
Oh my goodness.
Let us know what you're feeling.
Men in Black, my first PG-13 movie. And holy shit, when did this is a weird memory that I just had.
Yes,
like it just shot into my brain. I went to see Men in Black with my cousin Nick for I think it was his birthday.
Shout out.
And and we saw it, and then we went to it was the theaters up 23. I guess that's not Verona. No, what is it?
Kinnelon?
The Kinnelon theaters, and there was a ShopRite that was attached to like that little shopping center. We went in, and they had a spinner of Goosebumps books. And I remember seeing some that I'd never seen before.
In the movie theater?
No, in the ShopRite. The ShopRite next to it.
I was like, they're they've permeated every market.
And I remember seeing the Ghost Camp art and being like, I've never seen this one before.
Wow.
And it's weird because this art is stuck in my head of like,
Yeah.
First of all, it's a little girl and a bunch of ghosts, which has nothing to do with
I was
the
gonna
story.
say, like, the uniforms aren't the correct color.
Yeah.
They talk about at one point someone with blonde hair, but it's not like, it's just a side character. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's this is no one.
Because I want to say, like, this is a nice camp that you see in the picture, but, like, in reality, it's kind of like scumbag camping, which me and my friends go on, because everybody is dressed like Andrew WK at all times. Everyone's wearing all white.
And even the cabins are supposed to be white, and, like, the interior, like, they get into that descriptor, like, when they finally get to the camp, they talk about how all the buildings are white, and the insides of the buildings are white, and everybody's wearing white, and I just think that's so creepy.
Yeah.
Like, that everyone's just dressed in white. Very
and
culty.
it's down south, and I thought it was a pillowcase, but somebody was wearing it as a mask. And it's just no. I thought it was a little weird. The white is weird. It's a weird just descriptor for this because people dressed in all white, it's either like a wedding and a purity thing, or it's like a cultish or KKK thing. White always means something.
Yeah, it's like, whenever there's a cult, they're in white. Have you seen The Leftovers? Hello.
Or funny games where they're all
Games.
dressed in white and they go on a killing spree.
Exactly.
Or Tommy Oliver, the White Ranger from Power Rangers.
Yeah, hello.
Childhood crush.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted to be Kimberly, and I used to make my own like fan fiction when I was little, and I would like ship them together all the time because like they kissed, I think, once.
Nice.
But
they were
it wasn't
the
enough for
only
me.
dating. Well,
Yeah.
Matt, it's time to work on your karate and ponytail. So yeah, they get shipped out to Camp Spirit Moon, which sounds like something that a gypsy warrior would immediately start carrying.
R.I.P. They're out of business.
$36 for this small crystal. All right.
All
Well,
right. Anyway,
let's move on to chapter 2.
We're like almost 45 minutes into this podcast.
Yeah.
All right, so they're on a bus heading toward Camp Spirit Moon, and they are the only people on the bus, and they get off the bus, and the bus driver, who is described as having a great suntan, which I thought was awkward, tells them, oh, just walk through the woods and you'll get to the camp. So they're like, that's weird. There's nobody here to greet us. That's not okay. So they grab their bags and they suck it up and they walk through the woods. And when they get there, they kind of get a lay of the land. They see where like all the cabins are. There's a lake for swimming. There's like a campfire section. But what they notice and are a little freaked out by is that there is not one person in sight. So they're like, where is everybody? Oh my God, they're freaking out. So lo and behold, they run into a camp counselor, Chris, I think his name was.
All the names in this book are so unimportant.
I know, I don't
learned.
remember them.
Like if like most of the names are like Joey, Chris, John, like, but if
Sam.
your name is like Elvis, you're like, oh, this guy I need to pay attention to.
Everybody keep your eye on Elvis.
Elvis is gyrating his way.
He'll die on a toilet somewhere in this book.
Oh God.
I'm the toilet. Die on me.
Oh my God.
He's gonna diarrhea. That was DIE hyphen.
Okay, Matt. That's enough.
See, it was
You think
funny
if somebody
because
wanted Arya from Game of Thrones to die, it would be like hashtag die Arya.
I like that my cat is like giving like a side stare at you right now.
he's
like,
judging.
So counselor, like camp counselor Chris, like shows up and he's like, oh, all the kids ran away, and they're like, what? And then it ends. That's where like the chapter ends, and then like the next chapter is like, haha, just kidding, and they all like jumped out and they're like, we were just getting firewood. It's a camp tradition to scare the newcomers. And they make it a huge point throughout the whole book to say that they like to play jokes on like the new campers. So there's this camp director named Uncle Marv, who's this big hulking figure that like you just picture has like a like thunderous voice and is just like really extra. And
I pictured Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Hey, those guys. I pictured the guy from Christmas Vacation. What's that guy's name?
Fucking, he's in Independence Day as well, right?
Oh yeah, he plays the dad.
Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid.
Yeah, he's fallen on hard times. Big time MAGA guy.
Is he? Mm-hmm. Well, fuck him. In the words of Independence Day, up yours.
Yeah. So Marv shows up.
Yeah, he shows up and he's like, oh, we're going to have a big welcoming campfire ceremony tonight. Right. Like, if you survive it. And of course, Harry is freaked out by that. And he's like, oh, well, I think they're just joking. They said they like to play jokes. And that's him the whole freaking book.
He's
and
like, it's just jokes. And I love that phrase, it's just jokes.
Well, no, not even that. Like he says, like everybody says from the beginning on, oh, we're just joking around. He's like, yeah, it must just be jokes. But he's like, but I don't know. Like the most skeptical child ever. And it's just... He also says throughout the book that that they don't believe in ghosts, him and his brother. So I have a hard time believing that he's suspicious of them not playing pranks on them, but like he like doesn't believe in ghosts. So it's like it doesn't track with his character. So like that pissed me off.
Yeah.
But
save it for your bad.
Okay.
Yeah, we try to stay positive about every single book, especially later on. Starting this episode, actually. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So I really loved that there were opportunities for this character.
You sound like me at work.
No. I learned that from a job Matt and I work together.
Yeah, so this is called user error. Do you know what that is? Go on. You're doing a beautiful job.
All right. So they take notice that all of the campers that like suddenly hop out, they're all dressed in white. All of the buildings are white. They get to their bunk and they have separate gender cabins. So the girls are on one side, guys are on another. They settle in and they notice this mysterious cold blue goo all over the floor. And like nobody asks any questions. She's like, well, nobody's saying anything, so I guess I won't say anything. Mm. And he like doesn't even ask about it. He's just like, oh, this stuff is gross.
Yeah.
There's so much weird shit that's like cultish, but also like there needs to be a purpose for it in this book.
Yeah.
Like he comes up and he's just like, we have a special salute. And he's like, when you see me, you go, yo,
spirit.
Yo, spirit.
And they like touch their hand to their nose and like throw their hand out.
Problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Like, let's wear all white. And we have this special salute that only we made up where you put your hand to your face and throw it to the sky.
Make sure it's at a 45-degree angle.
Make sure. And like, one thing that I want to bring up, didn't mean to interrupt or be rude, but I just wanted to say at one point they say that our uncle, our good old Unky, has cold blue eyes.
Are they crinkly, Dave?
They didn't say crinkly because that's a bullshit weird thing that was made up that he probably forgot about at this point because just so you know, you need to remember that at this point, RLS has been writing a book a month. So, like...
For, like, 5 years.
Yeah, like... I mean, it's been 2 years since he's been doing it. 3 years since he's been doing it. But, like, still...
Since the start? No, it wasn't Deadhouse 92? Deadhouse is 92, because the Goosebumps run is 92 to 97.
Damn. So, yeah, he's been writing a book a month forever.
He's jaded. He's tired.
But every now and then, he really, really tries and just cranks out a good one. And this is one that I do believe later, where it's harder to find good ones. I will say this is a good one.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
I like this one.
Yeah.
So we have Cold Blue Eyes.
Yeah, and we have Puddles of Goo.
Puddles of Goo, which it's...
You know what I noticed in the book is they do say at a certain point when Harry walks into one of those dorms, he does see the genie from Aladdin in there.
Oh my God, Matt.
And the genie is reading a magazine, and Harry doesn't know what it is, but after the genie leaves, he does find the puddle. I mean, I'm not saying...
This is why you guys go over time so
saying...
Well, So here's the thing, that, like, he saw a magazine, The Genie, and he thought it was all about different Hillarys. It was about his favorite Hillary, because the magazine was called Swank.
Yeah, and he said, I'm going to put this in my swank bank.
Yeah. Lauren, you can continue.
Go on.
I don't even remember where
the
I was.
Pools of Genie.
Yeah, there was just a bunch of ghost everywhere.
So he doesn't point it out, doesn't ask any questions. So later they, and this is where I get a little fuzzy because this is where I kind of stopped a couple of weeks ago. But they go to like the cafeteria for dinner, and he can't find like the tray for like the food to get his hot dogs or something. And so Harry ends up meeting this girl named Lucy, and she is described as having dark eyes and like straight black hair, and she's like very, very pale. And he sees that his brother Alex is over with some other guy who ends up being this kid named Elvis. And they make it a big stink throughout the book, saying like Alex has this beautiful singing voice, and then Elvis, this kid, has a horrible voice when they're like auditioning for the talent show and stuff. Like
Elvis, like they are... American Idol didn't exist yet, but they know, they're like, this kid can fucking sing. Like, we're gonna ride his coattails to the fucking top.
Hell yeah.
It's like it's all of the campers like just kind of stop and they listen to him. Like Harry just really doesn't really even talk about himself. He just talks about Alex's beautiful singing voice, like the whole, every chance he gets.
Yeah.
So it's
how I read this book, I felt like Alex, every time somebody was like, happy birthday, like he like NSYNC, he was like, hey.
He would hold his ear like there was like a
like a Mariah Carey.
But and then the other hand would be like like
flailing all over. Yeah. Well, so and then they do go that night like into the woods, and they're like, "Hey, you gonna come to a little campfire? You fucking little cowards!" And they're like, "What?" They're very aggressive with their pranks and their jokes, and like they're like, "Hey, you guys are definitely scared, right?" And Harry's like, "Not really."
You scared of the trees, you little bitch?
Yeah, it's like a bit much. But you know, they go to the campfire, and that's cool. But they kind of feel like sore thumbs. They don't have their uniforms yet and whatnot.
Yeah, they're not dressed as Andrew WK yet.
Correct.
So.
Exactly.
Or some problematic if you dress in all
anybody
white,
dressed in white,
yeah, unless you're a bride, Andrew WK,
Angel from Heaven.
Mm-hmm. We have anyone else that dresses in all white? That's fine.
I would say Enrique Iglesias can wear white pants.
No, but he's totally a vampire. I don't know if you've seen him recently.
That's true.
Anne Rice
probably,
wrote him into existence.
Yeah, he doesn't age.
I saw producer Chib's giving you that look that in person means we should probably get the check.
Yeah. Check, please.
Check, please. So what happens next?
Well, they're grilling up some dogs in a fire, Dave.
Oh, boy.
And, they're putting their little weenies in the fire. And
yeah.
One thing I know about Harry is he's a horny little devil. Yeah. And because of this...
Are we talking about Harry's wiener?
We're talking about Harry's wiener, which he's grilling at the moment. Whilst grilling, he makes eyes at a little lady next to him. And the lady's name is Lucy. Lucy Lady is her name.
Producer Jim, you can stop us now, so there's no excuse.
Yeah. Go on, Dave. You take it from there.
So Lucy Lady, they're just like doing their dog wrestling, and she's like, I like mine burnt. I like my wieners hard and burnt.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, that's strange. I'm just here because my parents are irresponsible and wait all summer.
Yeah.
His wiener falls in the fire.
Whoops.
And he's like, well, guess I'm wienerless tonight. And she goes,
right.
And she just reaches deep into the fire, like unknowingly, just being like, the fuck? And just puts his wiener right back on his rod.
Yeah.
And he is afraid because she reached into the fire. And you're thinking like, well, maybe, you can reach into a fire and it's on the outskirts. Maybe it's a little hot. You spend a little time. It's not fine. Whatever. But this girl fucking reaches her fist into the goddamn maw of hell. And when she pulls it out, he's like, you're still on fire.
Yeah, she just reaches into the fire, pulls out the dog, and her arm is on fire, which is confusing because, like, I don't know if by nature we are that flammable. Because it sounded like as if one has, like, rubbing alcohol on their arm.
No.
Was she wearing a shirt? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I
but I think
was baking cookies one time when I was little, and I dropped like a chunk of cookie dough on the floor of the oven, and I reached in with my oven mitt, and we had a gas oven, and I guess the oven mitt caught the flame, and the whole oven mitt went up in flames while it was on my hand.
Well, fiber, I understand. I think...
So as somebody who's spent a lot of time camping...
Yes.
When it comes to, like, skin... and fabrics and stuff, there's been people who have been like near the fire putting stuff into the fire and like, you have a winter jacket, whatever, but like you don't realize the amount of heat that you put your skin, whatever's nearby. Like someone will have like, oh, my boots are wet from a hike, they'll put it near the fire. But like the same way that like you ever burn yourself and put your hand under the like hot water and then later it turns red or whatever, that's like your skin cooking like you would cook a meat when you like push it down. Like, so if you think about it like that, like if you throw a steak down, it's red in the beginning and then you pick it up, it turns gray, you put it down, but like your skin is much like meat.
Ew.
So if you do something like that or you bring it over, I mean, you're going to see that reflection of the heat later. And I mean, for her to be on fire, that's a little crazy. But if she's wearing long sleeves, I can see that happening.
Long sleeves,
especially
for sure.
To reach into the fire. For her skin just to be on fire, that's weird.
Yeah.
But, like, especially if she's a ghost, allegedly.
Yeah, who knows?
She's a ghost. Then, like, she wouldn't be on fire. But I guess maybe ghosts are more flammable. I can't really say because I don't know many ghosts, but... Yeah. Let's let's just like keep going. So so it's like whatever, and then everyone's like, shut the fuck up, it's ghost story time. And then like
so after that first story with that monster who eats them, they have a second story. And the second story is far more prescient. And that is taking into effect and into account what Harry has just experienced with Lucy, because this story claims that there was a group of counselors and kids once, and they were just as Harry and squad are. They were around a campfire singing songs and whatnot. And then a mysterious fog came in, and after it lifted, everyone was a ghost. And that's the story. Scary. So I will say, page 37, Alex is right. The monster story is stupid and funny. Then page 42, Alex is wrong. The ghost camp story sucks. Alex thinks it's good. I think it's bad. It's just like a mystery fog. There's no explanation. They're just ghosts now. I don't get it. Yeah. So after that, they go back to their little dorm, and Joey and Sam are their roommates now. And, there's still like blue puddles everywhere and stuff. And then also Joey and Sam have cat eyes, ? And their eyes like glow in the dark. And then on top of that, Joey levitates.
Yeah. But then you turn the lights on and everything's fine.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, it's your problem. But also you're standing in front of a bunch of blue puddles.
Yeah. Yep.
Whatever.
No problem. Then after that, Sam, he shoves a pole into his foot. How about that? Weird.
Yeah, but he acts like it's not a big deal and there's no blood.
Yeah, he said it missed his toes.
Yeah, it's like a real bullshit explanation. It's like, wait, I just saw it impale your foot.
Yeah.
And some other stuff like this happens, like Joey puts a fork in his neck.
Yeah. Joey like decapitates himself and he's just like, it's just a fun joke.
Yeah. He's like,
and
hey.
Uncle Mark comes over and he's like, how do you do this? They're asking because they're like, I'm looking at you holding your severed balls and dick. And you need to explain this to us. And Uncle Mark is just like, and they're like, it's a joke, I promise.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just jokes, but he did put the fork in his neck, and that was pretty clear. And then there's another thing where Alex tells Harry that they went for a free swim at one point, and Alex had to save a girl who was presumably dead from the bottom of the lake and bring her up. And as Alex held her, who's 10, by the way, or 11, held her lifeless body in his arms, it came to life, laughed, and spit water in his face.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And the description of that, of the girl basically just like flowing like foliage at the bottom of the lake.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. So we got that was a fucked up description. So we got like the firewoman. We got fucking Logan with the pole in the foot. We got the fork in the neck, another Logan. Then we got drowning girl, another Logan.
X2.
Yeah. So we got a whole bunch of stuff where it's like kids are like mangling themselves, but are unaffected by these things. So
which means this camp must make you real strong.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody works out to the point of exhaustion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Harry is watching a soccer game. And he says, this is fun. Football, as they say in the UK.
But also, they decide to have we do this cool thing where we play soccer at night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, no one will get hurt playing soccer at night.
Yeah. A lot of bruised chins. And a decapitated girl. Somebody kicks the ball so hard that the ball flies into a girl's head and her head flies off. Which is objectively funny.
Producer Chip, when you read this, did you think her head flew off? Because originally I read this and I thought she got like concussed.
I read it as her head flew off.
Really? Because I read it and then they're like, I had to make sure I picked up the ball and it wasn't her head.
That's what I thought. I was like, oh, her head flew off. Oh, no, it didn't. And then like, oh, no, it did?
I was so confused because I was like, there's no way somebody, even in a ghost story, that someone could kick a soccer ball, which is like plastic with air in it, so hard. So hard. Yeah. Like, I know they made Blitz 64, for football, but they never made the soccer version.
Yeah, FIFA Blitz.
Yeah, how hard do you have to kick a ball full of air to pop someone's head off?
Pretty hard.
But apparently they can do it.
They can do it. But it's like, yeah, pick a lane. Are you ghosts or zombies? Zombies, famously fragile. Ghosts, they're fine, right? She could just like let it pass through her head. I don't get it.
But also, like, when you see somebody's head fly off, do you, like, immediately run up and grab their head? Because
I do.
This character immediately was like, oh my God, their head flew off. I know it's a soccer game and whatever, but I need to run up and grab it. But when they grab it, just a soccer ball.
Yep. So Harry is made to think he's crazy for saying this, that he thought it was this girl's head. And what happens next?
They all make fun of him and call him a nutcase, and then he runs into Alex, and Alex kind of reinforces that he also saw that her head flew off.
Yeah.
So
everyone pretends to be werewolves for a little bit.
Yeah,
for like a chapter.
Yes, yeah, they're talking in the woods, he and Alex, about the girl whose head flew off, and so he's like, well, it's just jokes. We must have just not seen it right, because there was another ghost fog that was present. So during the campfire stories, a ghost fog rolled in during the second story about the ghost fog, and then all of the campers ran away and hid and to scare them again. So there's like this mysterious fog that keeps showing up, and it was on the soccer field. So they're playing soccer at night when it's really foggy, so they can't really see anything. But like while they're in the woods, some of the boys that Harry's friends with, I think it's like Sam and who else, they pretend
Joey.
to be yeah, Joey.
Sam and Joey, those fucks.
Yeah, they pretend to be werewolves, and then they chase them, and they're like, oh, scared you again, you were scared. And then the next day, during the meal, they're all like getting harped on about, being like babies and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I forget what happens after that. I think they're going on
another
hike.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to go on a night hike. And this is even after, like, there's more. I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want you to edit it, but there's more ghost leavings. And they're like, yeah, we need to get back to the camp, and we go back to our bunk, and we're going to get changed. And it's just so weird that, like, when you go to the boys' bunk, there's just all this, like, it's like boys' bunk, boys.
Well, you don't know if that's in the girls' bunk, too, because, I mean, they don't go into the girls' bunk ever, so.
Yeah, I bet there was if boy ghosts leave puddles, they must have spray the walls in the girls.
Yeah. It was a real like exorcist projectile vomit.
Yeah.
But from the puss. So then at a certain point, Harry runs into Lucy and says, oh, my crush is here. And, licks his fingers and straightens his eyebrows. And then Lucy says, hey, just so you know, I'm dead. I'm a ghost. And he's like, what? And Lucy's like, yeah, I've been dead this whole time. And the story is true, actually. The fog killed me without explanation. And I was just bones. And so now I need your body to get out of the camp, because if I try to like float away, I'll just disappear into nothing. So yeah. I need your vessel to escape the campground, and then when we get to the road, you can have your body back, and we'll both be better off. And he says, I feel like no, probably is my answer. And Lucy,
then she decides to unconsensually ghost.
Correct.
Yeah. I don't want to say it, but like, he's just like, yeah, no, I don't think we're really at that point. I just met you. And she's like, I'm a ghost. I'm going to dive through your head.
Yeah.
But he has the mental fortitude to push her away.
Yeah.
Get out of here, you dang ghost.
And he does, and he grabs Alex from their bunk, and they make a run for it into the woods. And they go deeper and deeper into the woods. And then the ground starts to shake. And the monster lifts up its belly and launches them into his mouth. And as they're cascading down his throat, they say, "This isn't real, this isn't real." And he disappears. But then Uncle Marv crests the hill and says, "What's up?" And
it was a ghost prank, and it turns out that if you do a whole little like "there's nowhere like home," you can beat ghost pranks.
Yeah, that was really weird. The monster thing was
turns out they went to like Barnes and Noble and read all of the ghost prank
101
guides.
ghost pranks.
Yeah.
And
so they were able to speed run through the ghost pranks. Like, instead of getting fooled this time, we know just to decide that you're wrong. It's so weird that like you're getting swallowed, and that's the point that you decide to be like, hey, if we all believe.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll defeat them with the power of belief.
Yeah.
But then, that works, and all the counselors are in tow behind Uncle Marv.
Yeah.
And
because if you're wearing all white, the power of prayer apparently means something.
And they all want to, infuse their spirits into Alex, and
they want to possess them.
Harry. Yeah, right. And they fight over the two vessels that are Harry and Alex. And they kick each other's asses so hard that they disappear.
This is the worst part of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes no sense that they would just disappear.
Yeah, that disappearance was less than half a page. It took no explanation.
It's like, I want to escape. Well, I want to escape. Well, we should disappear. Oh, shucks.
Yeah.
And then they're gone, and they get to run away.
Yeah, and they make it to the road, and turns out...
Well, Alex starts to sing, and Harry stops because something's off, and it's Alex's pitch. And Alex has perfect pitch.
Right.
And so he turns to him and says, "Elvis," and he says, "Don't tell anyone."
Yeah. And that's the book.
That's it.
So, good and bad. Well, you're our guest, producer Chib, so let's start with your good.
All right. This might take a little bit of time.
Okay. Are you serious?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm just gonna blow through.
Okay,
so,
you go first.
This is important. No.
Wow, it's like a lawnmower.
Yeah, you're the producer. You do it, because if I have no good or no bad, it's because I want you to really let us know.
Okay.
You're the producer.
So
you're where it starts. You're where it ends. Do it.
I liked this book because I felt like it had. And I don't know if this is intentional, probably not, but I like to think that since R.L. Stine writes scary stories, he would do his due diligence and do some research about supernatural things and the occult and whatnot. So there's actually a lot of themes of Hermeticism in here. So we have the spirit and the spirit has us, kind of directly parallels the as above, so below kind of belief that's in the Emerald tablet of the Hermetica, which is it's pretty much this philosophical God, I can't speak. This philosophical train of thought that related to alchemy and transmutation, and I thought that was really cool because a part of that is constructing your own reality. So it's as within, so is what's without. So when they're being swallowed by the monster, they chant we don't believe in you, we don't believe in you, because you're shaping your reality. reality. So if you don't believe inside, then it doesn't exist on the outside. And I like to think like that's why the monster disappeared, because they literally changed their reality. So I thought that was really cool. That also has to do with like The Secret, that book, like with the law of attraction, like you get what you give type of thing.
And you got Matt.
Unfortunately,
you wanted it bad enough.
I actually was like, oh, he's like the opposite of what I go for. Let's try this. And it worked out. Yay.
That's not true.
Oh my.
Yeah,
I put you together.
Yeah, you put us together at across the table from we were at a hibachi restaurant with you.
And I said, hot bachi cha cha cha.
And together you became an onion volcano.
That's right.
So I really liked that because I thought that had a lot of like cool occult undertones in it. And even the fog like is used as like a transformative vehicle. And like Dave's waving. So I thought that was pretty cool because that literally sparks like what changes them into ghosts. But then I was reading it kind of through this lens at one point because I thought Harry was all over the place. Like he was like paranoid, like he was like just like he just like was untrusting of everybody. I found it hard to believe that he kept saying that he doesn't believe in ghosts, but then he is like reluctant to accept that their pranks are just pranks. Like if it was me and I was his age, I would be like, oh, it didn't go through his neck. He probably has like one of those knives from Party City that's like a fake stabber that like you see in like the Scream movie. So yeah. I would just been like, yeah, it's a prank, whatever. And like I would have just taken it at that. So it's weird that he's so skeptical about ghosts, but then he's like questioning of like their pranks, like, oh, there's no way they could have done that.
It's also like when you look into it, this is the first book that we've gotten from R.L. Stine where people are like, this is just a prank. And they're like, ha ha ha, good prank. But like, it doesn't sit with them. Like in this book, they think.
Yeah.
Like anything that happens builds with this character too.
Yeah.
Which makes it even better. Like,
yeah, see, I didn't like that. I felt like it didn't fit.
Yeah, but I'm saying like what you're saying now, like something will happen and they'll be like, oh, that's a little odd. But like with other ones, once someone says like, this is a prank, you will never hear from it ever again.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, okay, yeah. I can see that.
So what you're saying is like it holds even more weight with that.
Yeah. Well, it didn't really make sense for him. Like I would have like a hard time believing that. But so like it started making me think. So I started like wondering if this was like at one point towards the middle of the book, because he was so scattered and like all over the place, I started thinking like maybe it's like that episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where she's like in a mental hospital and she had some sort of trauma where she created the whole scenario of her being like a vampire slayer. So I started thinking like maybe, you know, all of these ghosts are really persona of like one person in here, whether it's like Harry or Alex. In the middle of the book, I thought it was Harry because it was like told from his perspective. But by the end, I was like, oh, you know, if like that would have been really cool if they went that route with it. And like it turned out it was Alex, and the ghosts trying to possess them are the personalities that are trying to take over. And like I was thinking like maybe they had like a really bad experience with ghosts, because Harry keeps saying like the collective we. He says, we don't believe in ghosts. It's never I don't believe in ghosts. It's we, like me and Alex, don't believe in ghosts. So I thought maybe even Harry was kind of like a Jane from Doom Patrol, where they're protecting one person. So it's like an older, but not like too much older big brother. And I thought that was kind of cool because I mean, I can't think of anything scarier than not trusting the reality around you and like the feeling of losing yourself and not knowing what's real. And
Truman Show.
So
that's huge.
Yeah.
That's like incredible, especially that thought of like being not a twin, but telling somebody like, this is what we believe. This is what we believe. Like, I didn't even think of it like that.
Yeah, I just thought it was weird because they kept repeating it throughout. So I'm like, did they have like a ghostly encounter? Maybe it was like a previous book. Like there's like an Alex that shows up or something, and it was like too traumatic, and this is the aftermath of them dealing with it. But it didn't do that. So I just thought it was cool that.
Yeah. I mean, it's all these like what ifs. If like this was something RLS had some time with, but
yeah, I don't think he did. But
no, he had a month to get this done, but still, even with that, like, wow.
So that was my good. I also liked some of the descriptions. Let me see if I can find it. I wrote it down on the other page. So there was a really good description right before the first campfire story. I forget which page it's on, but they talk about the sound of the wind, and they call it the steady whisper of wind. And
I like that too.
That was really pretty.
Same.
And then they describe the sky color as evening gray, and it's like
sounds like a Benjamin Moore paint.
It does.
I would buy that paint.
I know. So that was all of my good. And then my bad was just things that like
Don't get too ahead of yourself.
Whoa.
We need to do our good.
Yeah.
We're
Oh, you got to do your good first?
What are you, the producer or something?
Oh, I thought you did your good and then you did the bad. Like
yeah.
Like,
but we got to do it together.
Okay, sorry. Okay, go
You're
ahead.
part of the team now. You're part of the team.
Dave, take it away with your good.
My good, I liked in page 1 when they said the sunlight through the dusty window on the bus. Because you ever been in a bus? Those shits were dirty.
Dusty as hell.
It brought me back. That's why I liked it. I liked that he said he slapped me a high five and nearly knocked me into the trees. That was with Uncle Mark. And I liked that. When
Uncle
it was
Marv.
like
Marv.
Marf. Uncle Murph.
Hey, there he is.
I think that was a really cool metaphor. Fun, interesting. I think when the sticks burst into flames, the 2 counselors lowered logs over them. When it comes to fire, it's super interesting, great. In chapter 8, they said wet, so wet, and silent. That was erotic. And then on the end of chapter 10... it said, I tried to sing too, but I didn't know the words, and my own voice came out choked and small.
Like,
You ever...
Yeah.
What are you saying?
I was just saying choked and small sounds like me in the bathroom. Jacking off. Go on, Dave. What were you going to say?
Mine was actually going to be a thoughtful recollection.
Oh, yes,
of a
please.
Recent,
Yeah.
I was at my girlfriend's grandmother's birthday, who recently survived COVID.
Wow.
Older Cuban woman, incredible woman. And it was her birthday, and it's like everyone's singing happy birthday. And it comes to like the name of singing happy birthday. And I'm like, I didn't know what to sing.
Right.
So it's like, happy birthday, and everyone's singing her name, abuela, like everything. And it's just like, that's the kind of thing where you're not part of it, and you can be as confident as you want, but you don't have anything to say.
Right.
And I thought of that, and I was like, that's pretty strong. That's like a cool, real world thing to put into this book.
Yeah. Choked and small.
It's true. And I thought that was a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
And that's my authentic good thing to say. And then I want to say that I made my way to the bunk bed and started to undress.
Hey.
Ooh, woo! A ghostly howl made me jump. I spun around and saw Joey grinning at me. Everyone laughed. Me too. I like camp jokes, I thought. They're mean, but they're kind of fun. I felt something soft and gooey under my barefoot. And that's all my good. So keep going.
Okay, cool. Well, my good is, I like on the cover it says Goosebumps. That's fun.
Yeah, dude, that's the name of the books, though. I love
it. Page 1, I had the same thing as you, Dave. The sunlight and the dusty window glass.
Yeah, dude, I love dust.
May I have the book, please, Producer Chip? Page 13, there's a moment of embarrassment that is relatable. And, so they did the left-hand salute. They do the Yo Spirits thing. And it says, that's how Camp Spirit Moon campers greet each other. Uncle Marv told us. He pushed Alex and me together. You two try it. And then Harry says, I don't know about you, but this kind of thing embarrasses me. I don't like funny greetings and salutes. It makes me feel like a jerk. And I think that's relatable. It's like, when people are like, hey, do this fun thing. This is cool. I'm like, I don't want to fucking do that. It's just sort of an interesting thing. Where Lucy's hand caught on fire, page 24. I thought that was a cool description. Where Harry is saying, your hand. The flames slowly burned low on her skin. She glanced down at her hand, confused, as if she didn't know why I was in such a panic. It was just cool. Like the flame slowly burned low on her skin. It's fucked up too.
Fire's cool.
Fire's cool, man. That's what I'm saying.
You ever light something on fire just to show your friends how cool you are?
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. But hey, what's not funny? The whole West Coast is on fire. Not cool.
Yeah. I agree that's uncool. Disregard our cool joke on Instagram I posted today that I was a little nervous about. But yeah, everything sucks, and we should all die because of it. Fuck yeah. Keep reading.
Okay. Page 30, the word solemn is used often to describe Lucy. I think solemn is a good vocab word for the age at which you're reading these books. And then page 32, the whole beginning of that page, which I believe is right before they start to dive into their ghost stories, and I think this is what producer Chib was talking about. It says, the flames flickered, crackling up to the dark, starry sky. Uncle Marv leaned into the orange firelight. His tiny round eyes sparkled. The woods suddenly became quiet. Even the wind stopped whispering. The air felt cold in my back. I scooted closer to the campfire. I saw others move closer, too. No one talked. So it's just a really nice setup for the stories. And then the stories are a little lackluster. And then the constant it's just jokes rationalization I put in my good, because the persistent rationalization of everything is realistic. Because even though, as producer Chib pointed out, he's these being jokes is sort of dubious to him, but he also wants to believe that they're just jokes, because he is, as he says, not a believer. Yeah, that's my good. A bad, producer Chib.
Not a whole lot. It was just like certain words that he used to describe like normal things, which I think has come up before. So page 2, he talks about Alex being bus sick, and I'm like, you mean car sick or like motion sick? I've never heard bus sick before, but I don't know if that's just me, because there's a lot of, as you know, there's a lot of things that I've never heard before that you've taught me. But I kind of don't like that. And I also don't like that he uses, like he describes Alex as turning yellow when he is like car sick, because, I mean, you wouldn't turn yellow. You would have like a slight green tinge. Like you would be jaundiced. Like if you had like hepatitis A or something, if that's when you would turn yellow.
You could just say you're pale.
Yeah, because he describes Alex as turning green from feeling sick later in the book. So it's like, why did he pick? I thought yellow was a weird choice, because you usually say you usually say you turn green when you feel like you're gonna hurl or something. So it's like, I thought yellow was weird and I didn't like it.
By the way, hurl is a very 90s good word.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said it. Yeah.
See, you already know this podcast. You produce us.
Like I listen to it.
You're the best.
Oh, you guys are the best.
You're the only one who listens.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, there's 2 other people.
I don't like that instead of saying swimming lessons or swim lessons, they call it instructional swim. So I don't know if that was meant to be a vocabulary word, but I'm like, no kid calls it instructional swim.
Yeah.
So I thought that was annoying for when they would go into the lake for that. I don't like when they are telling the campfire stories, the way the page is formatted and the punctuation. I have no idea from whose perspective we're hearing the story. I don't know if it's like from Uncle Marv's voice or if it's a recount from like Harry, like from his interpretation of it, just because the punctuation is weird. And I just was like, wait, who's telling the story? It took me a second. And then I think that's it for my bad. I know that you guys like harp on RL not knowing bands all the time, but I kind of think that's intentional. Like he's picking classic bands because like maybe he had the foresight that these books would kind of stand the test of time, because if you're doing like a band that's like a one-hit wonder, if I'm reading this in like 10 years, I'm gonna have no idea who that is. So I think like they said there's a lot of Beatles songs that they were picking to sing the talent show, and it's like,
and who are they?
Yeah, and it's like, again, a child wouldn't be listening to the Beatles, but
and the Beach Boys.
Who? I know Charles Manson. He was friends with them, but I don't know who that.
But I'm just thinking about when I was that age. There's like a ton of people that I listened to because I liked one song that I heard on the radio, and then I couldn't even name them now. Because
New Radicals. Filter.
No, but also this goes back to the point where in the 5th grade yearbook they said, "What's your favorite song or your favorite band?" And I said, "Orgy."
Yeah.
And for some reason they said you can't do that. So I was like, all right, I guess Goo Goo Dolls. And they were like, fine.
I guess Eagle Eye Cherry.
Yeah. No, but the thing too is like, you know, I mean, ask me how many Monkey songs I know. A bunch. Ask me how many Sister Hazel songs I know. 1.
Yeah. That's your bad? Mm-hmm. Cool. Dave, what's your bad?
I hated in the original beginning of this book. This is me vamping, so I don't. All right, so on page 11. So in the beginning, they show up and they only see one person there, and they're like, "Where's everybody in the camp we showed up to be at?" And they're like, "They left." They're like, "Huh? They left?" It's like, we can't be all alone in the woods. And they're like, "Excuse me, I'm just joking." And they say, "Excuse me? That was a joke?" I demanded. I was feeling very confused. It's a Camp Spirit Moon joke. Like, it's just, people don't talk like that, where it's like, "Hey, we're at this camp. Why is no one here?" And they're like, "No one is here." And they're like, "All right, what?" But we're like, "Our parents paid for us to be here." And they're like, "Well, it's a joke." They're like, "Well, what kind of joke are you talking about?" And they're like, "Well, it's like a joke we do." And they're like, "Oh, it's like a joke that no one's here?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's like our joke. That's the so like the joke we do is that joke. We're like, no one's here." And they're like, "But like, why wouldn't we just show up and see people?" And they're like, "Well, because it's our joke."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, that's crazy." And they're like, "I know, but here's everybody, and they're gonna meet you." And they're like, "Well, what a weird joke." And he's like, "I know, but that's our joke." And they're like, "Well, it's not funny. Jokes are funny." And they're like, "Well, sometimes it's like a personal thing. It's funny for us. And like, we'll think it's funny later. You'll get it." And he's like, "Well, I'll get this joke, but like, I'm not laughing." He's like, "I'm not laughing either. It's not, that's like, a laugh is not part of the joke." And like, it goes through that whole fucking thing for chapters of them being like, "Is no one here?" And it's like, it's a joke. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, why do we go through this joke for 8 chapters?
Yeah.
To be like, "Is this the camp?" No. And it's like, "Well, I thought it was the camp." 8 chapters. It's just like, yeah, it's a camp.
Yeah.
That sucked. The second ghost story is a huge mix-up. It's all fragments, and it's bullshit. And I don't even want to go through it. I put all the things here. It's like they looked up and saw that the moon had been covered by a heavy blanket of black clouds and swirled in the fog to become a drifting over the camp, period. A cold, wet fog, period. Cloudy gray at first, period. Then darkening, period. And thickening, period. Until the fog swept over the camp, period.
I hate a thickening period.
Yeah. Billowing like a black smoke period is messy. Also, they said there is no time when you're a ghost. There's just one day, and then the next, and then the next. Forever, I guess. And I'm like, yeah, that's how fucking time works. That's... It's just like, when you're a ghost, is there time? They're like, yeah. He's like, you have one day, and then the next day happens, and then the next day. Yeah, that's how it fucking works.
Yeah.
Fuck you, ghost. You think that's like what we've experienced in COVID and all this bullshit.
Yeah.
So fuck you. You're bad. Get out of here. All right. Is it that time?
I have to do my bad real quick.
Oh, I forgot about your bad because this book's good. But the bad made me so upset.
I only have a few things. So, page 14, the simile is cold as blue ice. Yeah, you know that old bag of tricks.
Well, you know how blue fire is hotter fire?
Yeah.
Blue ice must be
blue ice
cold.
Is cold as hell. Oh yeah, the salute, little Nazi-ish. Just gonna say it.
It certainly is.
Page 56. Unlike producer Chib, I think it sucks that he only likes the Beatles and Beach Boys because this happens again and again. And I think it's just RL, just kind of that's what he knows. Because
I didn't write it down because
because it's a trope.
I knew you were gonna write it.
Yep. And then the monster thing, I think kind of sucks. Like at the end, like it seems pointless. It's explained away as like a trick that the ghosts pull. I think it's unnecessary. It's like a separate topic that's then like tied in with the explanation of it being a trick. I don't.
Dude, but ghosts are so good at tricks.
Yeah, it's like scary enough that they're being chased to be possessed, and then it's like also manifest monster, but the monster's just silly. Like it's got like a big belly and like nipples that vibrate and stuff.
It's fucked up too, though. Like we didn't say this, but the monster's hair is very puby. Like they describe the monster, and it's like it's got hair shooting grossly and tuftily out of its fucking pits, and you wouldn't even want to look at its genitals. And its tongue was purple.
They're mangled and
a purple
burned on
tongue.
fire.
No, but the tongue, like it grabbed them and soaked them in, and then they were in its throat, and it like sucked them down to its stomach. Like it was very, vascular. It was gross. And that's something we didn't put in the normal writing, but I'll put that in the good writing. When that gross, pointless it is pointless. It should be in bad writing. The pointless monster is fucking disgusting.
It is gross.
If it was worth a point of the plot, it would be good, but he does such a good job explaining a monster that shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like that. We gave it a positive spin. Hey, we're at Spook and Scare. Let's go around. Chib?
I think my spook and scare would be when Lucy is trying to possess Harry, and he's like trying to fight her off, and like he feels himself becoming numb and cold and slipping away, and that like I just think that's so scary to like just start to lose yourself and feel yourself like fade away and becoming someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's like a demonic element to that. I don't like that.
There really is.
How about you, Dave? Spook?
It was when there's instructional swim from Alex, and he decides to go out into the lake and just kind of float.
Yeah.
And he looks down, and there was a little girl who basically was stuck in the rocks, and just her arms are flowing with the water like she had been dead under the water for a long time. And he decides, but also like kudos to the parents of these two boys, where anytime they see somebody whose head has been decapitated or a little girl who's been dead for a while, their first reaction is to like, I must save them.
Yeah.
He dives down into the river and pulls her from the bottom and drags her to the side. This little girl whose limbs are just at the will of nature, and she laughs and spits at him.
Yeah.
But like, so as an Eagle Scout, we used to have to do the merit badges and everything, life-saving, swimming. And one of the things that always fucked with me is like you would have to go through and perform the dredging of a lake where you would literally all line up as if a body was missing and all go through and do the dives one by one to basically cover a lake throughout the entire thing to find a body. And that's something you needed to perform. And the scariest thing to me while doing that was finding something. So like seeing that like would be the most horrifying thing ever. Hearing it's a prank after, whatever, even if that was my real life where I saw somebody and thought they were drowning and it wasn't, like that would fuck with me forever.
Yeah.
So that like actually stuck with me beyond like a Goosebumps book. Like thinking about that in reality was like a lot.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
Yeah.
I wrote like all the kids being maimed, although I think I have to piggyback producer Chib's. I think that's pretty spooky.
Yeah, I know that you're really afraid of stuff like that.
That's right, baby.
That was my original scare until the other
Keep
one.
that devil on his little pitchfork away from me. I don't want him poking my butt.
Get away from here.
It's too hot.
Go away.
Go away, basil boob. So now we have our best dressed. Chib?
Well, they're all dressed the same. So
Hell yeah,
all
beautiful.
The campers.
Perfect answer. Dave?
Mine was at the bottom of page 1.
Oh, is it the bus driver?
Yes.
Dave, I had this as
With
well.
the great suntan.
I had it as well.
So, Matt, would you like to describe page 1, the best dressed?
Well,
right off the bat, done.
The driver, who I pictured as Otto from The Simpsons.
Me too! I love that you said that.
Was hidden in front of a green curtain. I'm sorry. I had glimpsed him as Alex and I climbed on board. He had a nice smile, a great suntan, curly blonde hair, and a silver earring in one ear. Welcome, dudes, he greeted us. Yeah, that's it.
Bart, dude.
Yeah, just fucking cool. It's cool as hell. Single earring? Hell yeah.
Single earring.
Dangly
what
little
ear
earring?
was it in? Because it mattered then? Doesn't matter.
Does not
Because he
matter.
fucking rules.
Yeah, baby. What's our alternate title, producer?
Oh, I didn't think of one.
On the spot.
Okay, you can go last then.
Yeah, I'll go last. I forgot that we did this.
But because he's your husband, he has to go first. I'm sorry, that's the rules of podcast.
Okay, well, what did I write? Oh, yeah, Jackass the prequel.
What?
Because all these kids are getting hurt and fucked up all the time.
Oh, I get it.
Constant.
Mine needs to be edited.
Let's do it.
Because of all the blue puddles. Which, by the way, did we mention that the blue puddles are because when you turn from a ghost into a physical person, you spew a blue puddle?
Oh, yeah, it's protoplasm.
It's protoplasm.
That's right.
So mine is called Ghost Comp.
That's a very good title.
Technically, I didn't say it, so we can keep
I'm going to keep it.
Ghost Comp.
Because I think you have to understand the joke. You have to leave it.
Yeah, Ghost Comp.
Okay. Now, producer?
Yeah, yours has to beat all of ours because you're the producer.
How I got my shrunken weenie.
Nice.
Got it, because of the river.
Delivered.
I get it.
And also the hot dog incident.
Oh, the hot dog.
Because it blackens, it shrivels. So.
Yeah.
Did anyone else think that, like, because she was because she was like an underage woman and she decided to reach for a man's wiener, she got lit on fire because it was the will of God?
I did have some early themes of like the dressed in white and like the fire and him feeling shame suddenly, like, and his weenie like falling into the fire. And so
I'm not even kidding. I wrote so much about like Catholicism
Yeah.
in this and like hardcore
I abandoned
cultish
it.
Catholicism.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm glad we abandoned it together though.
Yeah, because I mean, and then I was thinking, I'm like, oh, maybe like this is an allegory for like a boy's like first time having sex and like, or like jacking off or something. So.
Yeah, and his brother's there and he's singing real good.
He's like, oh, and Harry.
His
just
brother's singing. His brother's singing the Halo theme song when he turns off. Ho ho. So where's the witch?
Well, I think it's Uncle Marv.
I think it's Lucy.
Oh. See, I didn't see Lucy as a witch. I also was with Marv.
Yeah.
Marv.
They're both.
Marble.
They both have witch elements to them.
Yeah.
And then.
And was there another one that we've acquired?
Another
since then?
category?
Yeah.
Most luscious liquor. I don't know if there was a liquor except for the beast, the monster had a.
Yeah, the monster
had to be the beast because it like literally. There was a chapter and a half of it like licking them and sucking them down their
It had a prickly
gullet.
cat tongue.
Yeah, it was barbed.
Yeah.
Or what was the word that they used? It wasn't spurs. It was. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you're right.
All right, so I just want to thank everybody who's been here for 2 years.
Yeah, truly. Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you for putting up with it.
Producer Chib, thank you so much for being with us.
And thank you for having
and for
me.
tolerating this.
Yeah, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I don't do anything.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Let us know about what you... All right.
He's like, yeah, I guess she doesn't really do anything.
No, you do things. I just think about the things that you do and how our podcast can only hurt them.
Yeah, if you want to get dragged down, advertise on our podcast.
Yeah. I'm so happy you're here, producer Chib. All of this failure is yours.
I think you guys do a great job. Like I said, I don't listen to many podcasts, but I make sure I listen to you, not because I produce it, but because I do genuinely like it, even though I like to give you guys the business.
The biz. She's all about biz.
Aww. No, but I would never want to have another producer ever.
Same.
Aw, thank you.
Well, that wraps up 2 full years for us.
And we're done now.
We're done. What? Okay, sign off anniversary message, Dave.
Fuck you. Don't tell me how to live my life.
Yeah. My message would be check your hole.
Well, that's true. That's a very important
Check
thing.
your hole.
And here's some things I'd like to share with everybody. So, harrystyles.org, which you've been discussing before. We want to let you know that for the second time, because no one gave a shit the first time, you can buy Calling All Creeps merchandise with our logo and t-shirts from TeePublic. We make, like, basically, I bought stuff, my girlfriend bought stuff. We make like $0 from this, so don't do this to be like supportive like some people did. Just do this if you really want it. I learned if you get the really dark gray hoodie, you can't see our logo through it.
I was wondering because I like that charcoal color.
Yeah, it looks so good on the website, right?
Yeah, but
yeah, I'll send you a photo. You can't, like, basically it's perfect for me. Where, like, no one can come up to me and be like, are you wearing your own podcast's hoodie? And I would be like, yeah. Like, literally, it would be like, in the right light, someone would be like, is that your own? And I'm like, yeah, I just snuck it in there. So it's perfect. But the thing is, like, originally it says, like, do you want to pick the specific colors that you can put this on? And I said no. So if you put a black thing on a black hoodie, you're doomed, or if you put it on the really dark gray. But it's our original art made by Len Danovich, and you can make stickers, which my girlfriend ordered, she is so sweet, and they look good. You can order hoodies, you can order t-shirts, long sleeve, they all look pretty good. It's all going to be linked on harrystyles.org. On top of that, on October the 13th, I have gone in, and please don't sue me, I've made some resin figures of RL Slime, as I call him, a specific child's author, as resin 3-inch tall figures. And you can buy from my website, creepy.com, CR33PY, a Calling All Creeps specific special bundle that will come with the figure, see-through green RL Slime figure, in a special coffin. And that comes in our canvas bag with our logo on it, and a randomly selected bagged up Goosebumps book and stickers of our podcast logo. So
amazing.
That's something
Those are all
that will
cool
be out.
things. That's cool
Very
as hell.
cool.
Now I will say Dave has handmade all these RL Slime figures, and they're fucking cool as hell. I just have to throw that out there.
It's RL Slime, a specific character
Yes.
that I decided to make from my mind that doesn't exist as anyone else.
Parody.
He's it's a parody. It's TM. It's a character who has written children's books forever, to the point where he's tapped into another force, existential force, to the point where he's become slime with his dummy, a strange dummy. Who knows what its name is, or if it would ever match anything in pop culture, but look it up.
Do it.
Look it up, and also you can always get something from here. We love that you support us. If you need anything from us, reach out to us directly.
And that'll do it. Boo dudes, thanks and bye.
And producer Chib, as you always say at the end of an episode, even though no one's listening, say that special slogan you say every single time, always, that you say constantly after every episode, all the time. Say it right now.
What can I say? Have a great day.
Perfect.